Well, good evening, brothers. Thanks again for being on this webinar. We'll go ahead and get started. So I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Joe Citro. I serve as the Chief Executive Affairs for Lambda Chi Alpha International Fraternity. A lot of my role is to oversee special projects and strategic partnerships, and one of those is our partnership with Feeding America. So again, I wanted to thank you all for your time this evening. We will discuss and go through this agenda, philanthropy and community service and what those mean, the Feeding America overview, so what our role is with Feeding America, the role of volunteers, the volunteer week that Lambda Chi Alpha has created, how to plan a volunteer event at your local chapter, some resources the general fraternity can provide, our impact that we have across North America, as well as talking about Hunger Action Month and then going into question and answer. So again, this webinar is very much so focused on volunteering and volunteerism and how we get our chapters and our members out to the local food banks and food pantries to volunteer. So I wanted to start with philanthropy and community service defined. Community service is hands-on community engagement done outside of class or coursework. So for example, a volunteer event or having the chapter go to the food pantry, that is defined as a community service-based event. Philanthropy is defined as raising and donating money or collecting and donating items. So philanthropy could be a watermelon bust, it could be a canned pickup, a canned food drive, if you will. It could be a teeter-totter-thon, but some event that is raising and donating money or collecting items in some capacity. And then service learning is community engagement done for credit in conjunction with academic coursework. So service learning might differ based on your campus, but what we'll talk about today and tonight is community service, about having that hands-on community engagement. Now, parameters, and this is more so, again, geared towards volunteering. So parameters of your volunteer event should be to have fun, to make sure it's in a safe environment. And again, really at the core of all your philanthropy and community service-based work, it should be to instill and live the values of service and stewardship amongst the membership. So talk about Feeding America a little bit and a broad overview. As you'll see in this picture, as you denote the infographic, if you will, of images, so donations are made, food is moved, food is distributed and stored, and food reaches those in need. Now, where Lambda Chi Alpha plays the largest role is making donations. Donations are made. So that's when you all go out and you raise canned goods, raise money, all that. Food is moved. So that is actually a lot of what volunteering can be in terms of storing food and organizing things at the food bank and then distributing it and storing it. So those are really the three of the four main areas that Lambda Chi Alpha plays a role in. And again, we're going to talk about how food is moved and how it's distributed and stored. Now, another quick fact about Feeding America, they have over 200 nationwide food banks across the United States. And then for our Canadian chapters and Canadian brothers, we Feeding America partners with the Food Banks of Canada, and then they have their own set system there. But again, a nationwide network of food banks, and the whole role of Feeding America is to fight to end hunger. That's their purpose. That's what they're trying to do, is end hunger, and our role and our assistance with that is, again, getting our hands dirty at the food bank. It's hosting philanthropy events and community service-based events, and it's raising money. So in terms of role of the volunteers, at the local food bank, you can have a variety of responsibilities. So that could be volunteering at the food pantry and helping clients. That could be sorting and packing food, and that could be packing and feeding programs. So there's three packing and feeding programs to talk about. There's a backpack program, an elderly program, and a mobile pantry. The backpack program is targeted towards school children. So a lot of food banks have a backpack program where they will provide, whether it's like a tote bag or sometimes even a grocery bag, but some food, some snacks that are nutrition-based they can give students. And at the local food bank or food pantry, you all can help pack those backpacks or back sacks. Again, every food bank will be a little different on how they do it, but it's something that we've had chapters do, and they've had a lot of fun packing the backpacks. I think, again, it's another way for you all to see the impact that you are making at the chapter level in your community. The elderly boxes, that's another common program at a variety of food banks. This is a box where you put about 40 pounds worth of food, some items that elderly people can have and can utilize. They'll pick up a box of food. So again, it's assembly line sort of style where you all would put those items in that box. And the mobile pantry. The mobile pantry is a pantry that drives out to the clients. It knows, and Feeding America knows, that some of its clients do not have the means or transportation to get to the food pantry or to the food bank. So ourselves going out to them allows us to make the impact. So that's another way you can volunteer. And again, there's other opportunities for you to volunteer at the food bank. It just depends on what their needs would be or could be, but these are the most common that we've seen that Feeding America encourages and implements. So again, it just depends on your local community. So now, the importance of volunteers. A volunteer hour is actually equivalent to over $22. In an average month, nearly 2 million volunteers provide more than 8.4 million volunteer hours. In regards to hunger, 2 million full-time students and 1 million part-time students are food bank clients. And what you might have noticed is also a trend of food pantries being actually on campus. So that's something else to look into even volunteering at as well. And really at the core of it, when you're volunteering, you help the food bank keep its costs down and allow them to assist more people. Because this way, instead of paying people to sort the food, paying people to organize it and distribute it, you all are helping and saving that time and that energy, and that allows the food bank to help more people. So these are some great facts that I would encourage you to share with your brothers at the local chapter level as they're seeing if they're interested or if they're unsure of kind of what they're going to get out of it, what the worth is of their volunteer hours. Saying to them, hey, a volunteer hour is equivalent to 22 hours. I'm asking you to give me 3 hours or 4 hours out of your semester or twice a semester. Would you be willing to just participate and be part of this? So a lot of it's just sending that message and informing our brothers at the local level of how important their time can be and how much of an impact they can make in just a short few hours. So with that, I wanted to reach out and ask you all a question and see if you all have scheduled a volunteer event for this semester. So that's a poll question you'll be seeing on your screen. So the answers are yes or no. Well, thank you, brothers. It looks like a majority of you do have a volunteer event schedule, which is terrific. So again, this should be a good help for you. For those that do not have a volunteer event planned, as well as there's a good percentage of that, this again will be a wonderful resource for you. So again, some facts, quick, easy information that you can share with your chapter brothers there. Now, in terms of the volunteer week that Lambda Chi Alpha is hosting, we'll be doing that from September 21st to 25th. It will take place, obviously, at a local food bank near you, near your chapter or food pantry. We're encouraging all our chapters to participate. Again, this is a wonderful opportunity for us to show not only ourselves as an organization, but others outside the organization, the impact that we can have on a broad scale during a week. And it's just finding the best time that would work for the chapter to go out to the local food bank and to volunteer. So really, it's just encouraging your chapter to participate, using the facts we mentioned before, telling your chapter this is an opportunity for us to make a difference, and also asking, too, to volunteer for a specific program. I'm sure some of you all have sorted food, and that is a very meaningful, very, very meaningful job, but maybe seeing if there's other opportunities if you've been in the food bank before that'll allow you to get your hands dirty in a different way, maybe allow for a different experience, a positive experience there. Now, what I do want to also show is the Volunteer Week one-pager. It's an easy document to digest. I want to talk through that and show you all that if you have not had a chance to see that yet. So Loosely, the why, again, goes over a lot of the facts that we have shared that I mentioned before. Some other quick facts. 12 million children are food insecure. 46 million Americans are food insecure. How you can do this is start by contacting your local food bank and scheduling a time to volunteer. There's a volunteer task list and a list of food bank coordinators. A lot of this is, again, reaching out to the food bank. Hey, we're going to plan on volunteering sometime during this week. What time works best for you? Banks, and have informed them that Lambda Chi chapters will contact them during this week. So it shouldn't be a surprise at all. If anything, they should be excited to get your phone call and get your email to reach out to them about scheduling some time during the week. Pre-planning wise, discussing this opportunity early, getting brothers to sign up for a potential date. So yourself as Theta, or if you're working with the Theta to plan this event, really kind of seeing what time would work probably best for the chapter, and then offering that as a date and a time, and seeing how many men can sign up, or talking with chapter members and coming up with a time. But I would suggest you probably preface it with a date and a time that allows more men to just check their schedules and say, yes, I can go, or unfortunately, I can't go. Contact your local food bank to confirm a date. Again, that's the second step as you're pre-planning this event. So you reach out to the food bank. I'm available at this day, at this time. We're going to have 10 to 15 men there, and see if they're available during that date. See if there's any issues that they have occur. Or maybe they might recommend, hey, we're packed, but you can go to the local food pantry. Here's their information. You'll want to reserve that time, though, once you talk to the food bank, and you'll probably need to fill out a group volunteer form. This is a standard practice for a lot of the food banks, is to have a group volunteer form where you as the Theta would get this information. You'd submit it to say, here's how many people are going, here are the names of these people, here's the contact information that we have, information like that. Again, can't stress it enough, asking about specific programs you can do instead of packing and sorting food. So the backpack program is something that interests you, about packing backpacks for kids. They can get on the weekends, so that way they're not hungry. That's something that can resonate with a lot of brothers. That's something that can stand out. We'd encourage you to do that. As well as planning a month ahead, probably pre-planning wise. You should really look at trying to organize and orchestrate at least some of these tasks during that time. What I did want to show you all was this link here, and this link actually is one of the documents within that one-page document that I mentioned earlier. And so I know it is a little tight to see, but once you zoom in a little bit more, point of contact. So all you'd have to do, for example, let's say looking at Arizona, your volunteer engagement, opportunity to be a brother in a fraternity education, for the chapter to go as a whole with the associate members and discuss and actually live out the value of experiential learning through service and stewardship, living out that value and putting it into action. So it can be a brotherhood event in terms of, I know one chapter they paired up people that were older versus those that were younger that might have not known each other, and they hosted a volunteer event together, and that was an opportunity for brothers to spend time together, to make an impact, and to also just talk and share some thoughts on kind of where they're at. So those are two different ways in terms of organizing brothers. Really, the stressing them, the bigger thing is that we've noticed is that brothers aren't willing necessarily to volunteer because of a lack of interest or because they feel like they just don't have time to. But if you can ask them to try volunteering at least once at the local food bank and confirm the brothers who are interested are going, it was important to recheck, triple check, make sure that all those brothers who initially wrote their names down who were able to attend didn't have any conflicts that have recently occurred, have come up, that would make them unable to attend. So remind brothers of the date multiple times. Chapter meeting is a great location to do that, as well as seeing if, again, maybe other brothers are willing or able to be able to be there. So usually you want to do this probably about 3 weeks before the event to organize the brothers, make sure that everyone's good to go, and then consistently as you're getting closer to the event, remind them and reconfirm of the date and the time and those that are able to make it. But we all know that this is probably the most challenging. But I definitely have faith in you all. So the execution of the event. One of the logistical challenges you may have to talk through with the chapter is transportation to and from the food bank. For some chapters, it's very close by. It's maybe a 10-15 minute drive. For others, it's about 30 to 45. And for some of you being in the larger cities, that varies depending upon what time you're going to get there and which mode of transportation, whether it's the metro or you're going to take a car or whatever. But just be sure as you work on figuring out which brothers are going to be able to attend, that you also figure out logistically the transportation, who's going to be able to drive to the food bank and who can drive back from the food bank and take the rest of the chapter members there. Likely on that day, there will be a sign-in process where you have to go sign in at the food bank. That way you can be tagged as a volunteer. They'll probably do very, very brief training, but explaining here's exactly what you are going to do today, and they'll walk you through what that looks like. On that one-page document, there's some best practices for the backpack program. Again, it varies by the food bank in terms of what specific tasks they'll ask you to do, but they'll be sure to explain it in detail for you. You'll also have to probably, they'll either send it to you beforehand or when you arrive at the food bank, have some sort of waiver or any additional documentation that they might need. All you have to do is read that, sign off on it, and then give that to them. But once you get past those logistical steps, really a lot of it's having fun. A lot of it's just enjoying the experience of volunteering, of giving back to your community. We encourage you to take photos and post them via Twitter, via Facebook, Instagram, whatever social media using the hashtag LCAFightsHunger. We also want you to report your information to us at the conclusion of the event. It's a wonderful opportunity for you all to get credit where credit is due. And knowing the fact, too, that our top 3 chapters with volunteer hours in regard to the percentage of the chapter will receive awards at General Assembly. And it's also an opportunity to get feedback about what can be done better as the theta. So after you've logistically worked through your first volunteer event, you can ask the members that participated at the chapter level, hey, what worked? What didn't work? What did you guys like about that? Did you like that type of volunteering we did? Would you prefer we did some other program or some other thing? Because, again, the food bank wants to also meet your needs in regards to if you want to do a different type of event the next time, that you all put in that request, and they're usually able to honor that in some capacity. So getting feedback about what can be done better is always a wonderful thing as theta, especially as you're beginning to plan these volunteer events. So I wanted to start off with and go from there to our next poll question real quick. And before we get into resources, kind of get a sense from you all in regard to if you're going to participate in that volunteer week. Just give me 1 second. Turk Brothers, well, I'm glad to see that a majority, almost all the chapters are planning to participate during the volunteer week. So I would encourage you to take photos, share them with us. You know, we want to give you all credit for what credit's due, and we feel like this is a great way to really make that impact in our community. Wanted to share some General Fraternity resources with you all as well. As at the chapter level that we encourage you to www.lambda-alpha.com, including videos, shirt designs, graphics, educational material. There's also the Feeding America guide of the information that you need, and some of the resources within this document include the one-pagers and tasks that I just mentioned. There's also, like I said, there's just one of the other reading site here is Hunger Education. So there's some that you can utilize when you're talking about the impact they can have, and about the resource guide, the task list, submission form. You can find, and all these resources can be found on Officer Portal in the document library under High Theta. The volunteer submission form, what that is an easy printable document that you can print off. You can bring it to the local food bank. I know some of our chapters have struggled at times with getting documentation, so this allows them to basically write up what they did, how much of the chapter participated and volunteered, and then have the food bank coordinator sign off on it. You can even do and have the information that you have for raising canned goods and canned food and putting that as well in the same document. It's just an easier way we hope that you all can have to track exactly how many pounds you raised, exactly the amount of volunteer hours that the chapter did, and just submitting that when you submit your report at the end of the semester. So our impact. As an organization, we've raised over 5 million pounds and meals since 2013. So that is huge. That is absolutely massive, and the credit all goes to you all at the chapter level and your work as High Theta, and the Thetas before you, and the Alphas before you, and just the general leadership of the chapter members and the chapter membership to get their hands dirty to want to be part of this. But our hope is that we can continue to branch out in terms of getting more involved with local food banks, really living our values and encouraging our brothers and others on campus to do the same. This also leads to lifelong memories. A lot of chapters we've talked to have said that they really enjoyed volunteering because it really allowed them to bond with their brothers in a very different way, but in a way that really impacted them personally, as well as they knew that they were going to impact their community through the work that they did over the course of a few hours. Conversion rates, this is just a general fact for you all. So for $1 raised, Feed America can secure 10 meals, and for $1 raised, Feed America can secure 12 pounds of food, and that is based on the national average, and that's from the Feeding America headquarters office. So it will vary by food bank. Sometimes it's a little more than 12 pounds of food or a little more meals than 10. Other times it's less. Just depends on your local food bank. But wanted to discuss Hunger Action Month. So September is Hunger Action Month. It's an opportunity, again, that we're encouraging our chapters to host philanthropy events, to host volunteer events during the volunteer week, and advocate for the cause. So a quick way you can advocate is to post facts via social media. Again, 1 in 6 Americans struggle with hunger, and 1 in 7 Americans turn to Feeding America for food assistance. And that link that's there is the link I showed you earlier from Feeding America's website about the variety of facts that they have that you can use to educate brothers. But we also want to bring up Spoontember. So Spoontember is an opportunity for our chapters to truly advocate for this cause. You can purchase a box of spoons, cheeky spoons at Target. Some of you may have utilized and seen some of the chapters do this before. I know Bill has reached out and put a spoon on his nose. Brother Farks is our CEO. Some of the chapters may have received boxes of spoons, but we're encouraging you all to, if you did receive that, or if you want to advocate for this cause in some way, to balance the spoon on your nose, take a photo, post it to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, challenge other brothers to take spoon selfies. It's a fun way to advocate for the cause, to raise awareness, and to also be sure to post a quick hunger fact within that. So, you get the spoon, you take the photo, you post it online, you use the hashtag Spoontember, you tag Lambda Chi, you can tag Feeding America, and for example, a quick fact you can say is LCA or Lambda Chi raised over 3.5 million pounds of food last year. So just quick ideas like that, quick facts like that. We're just hoping to raise awareness. I know that we're encouraging our chapters to participate, especially if they had a box sent to their chapter. And if it was sent there, the High Alpha is the one that it was addressed to. So be a part of that. Be a part of Spoontember. Take place and take an active role in Hunger Action Month. So again, a lot of it's volunteering, obviously, which we talked about, a majority of this webinar, philanthropy and community service in regard to the philanthropic side of things, hosting a philanthropic event sometime during the month of September, as well as Spoontember, participating in that as to advocate for the cause, to post via social media ways to raise awareness. So that's Hunger Action Month. That's the volunteer webinar, I want to turn it all to you for any questions and answers that you all may have. Also want to provide you my contact information. As I know brothers are typing in questions, then my phone number here is 317-803-7311. And that's my direct line. And then my email is jcitro, JCITRO, @lambdachi.org. So those are the two best ways to get a hold of me. Underneath that is the website where I showed you all a variety of resources, and that is www.lambda-chi-alpha.org/Feeding America. So, brothers, feel free to type your questions in the chat box that you'll see with the GoToWebinar there, and I'm glad to answer any and all questions you may have. Okay, I've got my first question here. In regard to the volunteer week, can we also volunteer at the food pantry? Yes, you are more than welcome to volunteer at the food pantry. We're just really stressing that our chapters try to host a volunteer event sometime during that week. We will also host another volunteer week in the spring. Our hope is to continue to make this a consistent theme every semester, where we have a week where we're encouraging our chapters to go to the food bank and to volunteer their time. Other questions, brothers? Will this presentation be made available for future reference? Great question, Sean. It will be. What we will do is we will actually post this onto the Lambda Chi website, the Feeding America website, that address that you see below on the screen there. So we'll be sure to add that webinar there. You'll also be able to find it on YouTube. I would encourage you, as you look at whether it's yourself or the new High Theta coming in, that's a great resource you can show them. So definitely be sure to pass on this information. We'll be sure to make it available to you all. All right, here we go. A few other questions popping now. Thanks, brothers, for the questions. So, my university has its own food pantry that is sponsored with Feeding America. Would it be fine to work with the university as opposed to organizing a trip to the nearest food bank 90-ish miles away? Of course, brother, that is more than fine. That is very much so encouraged. I think it'd be a great opportunity for the chapter to get a sense of working at a food pantry on campus. I think that might resonate with the fact, again, that so many students, 10 million students are full-time students are food insecure. So I would really encourage you to utilize that as a wonderful educational opportunity. And I would really encourage you to schedule that probably more than once. If you schedule during the volunteer week, I think that'd be great. So we'd love to get photos, any video you could even get. I think that'd be wonderful. So yes, definitely plan it at the local food pantry on campus. That'd be wonderful. LCA held a nationwide construction event. Is it possible to have construction events at the chapter level? Of course. Wonderful question there. Yes, it is possible. That just depends on what the local chapter wants to do. Last fall, we encouraged our chapters to participate in construction, more so the fact of just hosting a construction event and just sending images our way. But you're more than welcome to do that at the chapter level. What I would encourage you to do too, if you could make things work, is to have the volunteer event maybe after the construction event. So that way, when you go to volunteer at the food bank, whether it's during the volunteer week or after the volunteer week, that you could drop off all the canned goods that you created, that you raised. Sorry. I got another question here in regard to Spoontember. Which officer was if there was a box sent, which officer was sent that box? So again, that was the High Alpha. Was the box was addressed to him. So some chapters will receive those. If you receive them, again, I would stress that you have the chapter participate. It's very simple, a fun way to raise awareness about hunger and to encourage other brothers to participate in that. I got a question here. Could you give us a follow-up email with the link of the local volunteer supervisor listing Excel sheet you showed earlier? Sure, I'd be glad to do that. Again, just a reminder of where that is located. So if you look at the Volunteer Week one-pager, and as Thetas, we sent that out via email last Tuesday, so about a week ago, we sent that out to you. So if you click on that link, it will take you to the Volunteer Week one-pager, and then from there you can click on the list of food bank coordinators. But I will work with our communications staff to follow up with you and get that sent to all the attendees here. I got another question here in terms of the dates for Volunteer Week. So again, that's September 21st to September 25th. So I know it's coming up, it's right around the corner, but wanted to have this opportunity to educate you all on kind of some of the best practices that we've seen from chapters. Want to take some time to explain kind of the role of what the food bank does and the different volunteer opportunities that are offered. All right, brothers, take one or two more questions. Okay, so the question I got here is, in regards to planning this as a fraternity education event, would you suggest trying to find a time for bigs and littles to go compared to the chapter? It's up to you. It's up to how many people the food bank can have at one time. Again, some of the food banks are different and they can only host so many volunteers at a certain amount of time. So it's really just working with the Theta for that. But we would encourage as many chapter members as possible outside of the big and little couples, if you will, to go to that volunteer event, because it's a wonderful opportunity for the chapter as well as for the new members to get a sense of what the value of service and stewardship means, and to really implement that and to understand why they're doing this, why they're volunteering. And that should be because they want to make an impact in the community, because they want to give back, because they want to live our values. So that's something I would definitely stress. Well, with that, brothers, just a reminder, my phone number is 317-803-7311. That is my direct line. So you can reach out to me there anytime. And then my email is the letter J, and then C-I, T as in Tom, so J Citro, at lambdachi.org. So you can reach out to me if you have any further questions. And then the website, again, is www.lambda-chi-alpha.org/Feeding America. So those are just, that's where you'll find the resources, and that's how you get a hold of me if you have questions. If you have feedback as well, brothers, if there's something that you feel like you're missing as you look at planning these volunteer events, or there's feedback you get from chapter members as well, definitely feel free to pass that along if there's other resources or other information that you feel will be as helpful as you're planning these volunteer events. But I can't thank you enough, brothers, for being able to attend this webinar, or spending some time this evening going through this information. Want to wish you the best in terms of planning your volunteer events. I'm sure they'll be wonderful. If you have questions, again, please reach out to me. But we look forward to seeing all the images and seeing you all volunteer at the food bank and giving you some credit and giving you some positive shout-outs for the difference you're making in your community. So thank you, brothers, and have a good rest of the night.